Welcome in. Hail to the podcast brought to you by Maize and Blue Review. We're part of the On3 network. Guess what? Go to on3.com, search Maize and Blue Review. You can find us, get access to all of On3's national college coverage, all of Rivals, high school, and recruiting coverage, all Michigan coverage and intel, our message board community, the Den, just for $1 to try for the first week. Give us a shot, see what you think. We'd love to have you. Otherwise, welcome in to the podcast. I'm Trevor McCue, senior editor of Maize and Blue, joined as always by our Intel insider and publisher, Mr. Maize and Blue Review himself, Josh Henschke. We are both currently employed. Cannot say the same for Brian Kelly, as if now that news broke just as we went live here Sunday at 8 o'clock. Brian Kelly no longer employed at LSU. I am just shocked that didn't work out.
Yeah, right.
We've talked about this before where it's like, look, head coach hires are kind of a crapshoot. I always hate the term like, oh, that's a home run hire because you don't know, right? Luke Fickell to Wisconsin, that felt like a home run hire. That felt like one that was really, really going to work out. There's some, though, that it's like, man, I just don't see this working out. Urban Meyer, when he went to the Jaguars, the NFL comes to mind. But when LSU hired Brian Kelly, I was like, what? And then as soon as I saw that basketball introduction, and we are so happy to be in Louisiana, me and my family. It's fake ass accent. Woo!
It's embarrassing.
Buddy Darbo, you're right. I did from day one. I did not understand the fit there. But Michigan State head coach Jonathan Smith, some people wondered after a Michigan loss, would he continue to be employed at Michigan State? He is. We'll get into that when we kind of recap this game and all. But man, there are some big time openings already in this coaching cycle. More to come. If I was Michigan State, I don't know if I want to have to try and hire a coach with all these openings that are out there, these teams that have a head start on you.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see. I mean, these coaching firings now are happening way earlier than normal.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we are just barely at the halfway point of the season. Well, a little bit over it now, but I mean, when was Gundy fired from Oklahoma State? It was like week 3 or something.
Three or four. Yeah.
It's just, it never, it's just going to get, earlier and earlier, with all this money being thrown around. And I don't know why these people try to get these big buyouts in the contract. I mean, obviously it's good
it's got to stop.
It's good for the coach, but not good if you're the athletic department. I mean, he's owed $50 million. Like, that's insane. I don't know. Why would you want to coach after that? Are you just getting paid $50 million to go sit on the beach somewhere?
There's words better than insane, because you've got all of this complaint and turmoil and nonsense with revenue share. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. We can't do this. Remember when they used to talk about amateurism?
Right.
They wanted to protect amateurism, and now there's sponsors on the fields. They want to put jersey patches. You got Big Ten programs that are all on board with a private equity deal with an organization that's literally associated with a team in the conference. Like, let's rush into that freaking deal. You're paying coaches $50 million to not coach your team. And this isn't like the Penn State deal with Franklin. Franklin has to actively try to get another job, coaching or in broadcasting, and Penn State only owes the difference.
Right.
Brian Kelly can go get a new job, and he's still going to get $54 million, I think it is, from LSU. What are we doing?
Crazy number.
What are we doing? And we can't get health insurance for these players. Like, it's maddening, dude. But anyway, I'll tell you what. It's interesting. Brian Kelly and James Franklin are in two situations for me where they're dusty right now, right? The optics of hiring them wouldn't be great because they were fired by their programs for not meeting expectations. That takes them out of the running of a Florida job, or in the case of Franklin, maybe an LSU, whatever. If Michigan State could pick up either one of those two, again, I hate the term home run hire, but that's a move I think would be pretty fantastic for them to get. Brian Kelly obviously has a lot of ties to the state of Michigan, spent years and years as a successful coach at Grand Valley State, doing a program, and that lasted for a couple of coaches after him. Coached at Central before he went to Cincinnati. Kind of a Midwest guy, which is why the LSU move made absolutely no sense in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's get into this Michigan State game. Again, kind of hard to ignore the narratives that surrounded this, where you felt like John C. Smith that's not fair, but I'm doing it. Might be coaching for his job. Look, we know what a win in this rivalry means for a Michigan State coach. Look at Mel Tucker in the COVID year where they go 22-5 in 2020, and then a 2021 win. I mean, you beat Michigan. That's what you got to do in Lansing. That would have definitely bought him time. He loses, and I'm interested in your thoughts optically, Josh, because I've defended Smith a lot because I said when they hired him, I was like, this is a pretty good hire for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA would have hired him. Washington would have hired him. He was considered a hot name in that cycle. You struck early. You got him to leave his alma mater. Granted, that ship was sinking. No conference. I wondered about the West Coast thing, whatever, but I was like, look, you guys, your NIL is non-existent. They literally stopped playing their players in the middle of the season. This is going to take time. This Mel Tucker thing's a mess. And here they are in year 2, furious at him and want him gone. I'm like, I don't know what you guys expected when you hired him, but I watched that game Saturday and I started to kind of see what they're talking about. It felt like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He looked miserable. Joe Rossi, which is it? Shoot.
Rossi, I think.
Yeah. Is fired up the whole game.
Yeah.
I joked, I think I tweeted him, like, I think he's the head coach because they're showing him so much. After the game, you see the generic handshake between Sharon and Smith, and then he goes over and daps up and hugs Rossi and was having a good back and forth conversation with him, strong defensive performance, whatever. But that program and this rivalry in general is in a real interesting place after Michigan gets their 4th straight win in East Lansing.
Yeah, if that's not a wake-up call for people in East Lansing, I don't know what is. I mean, you weren't necessarily embarrassed on your home field, but it certainly could have been. I think Michigan shot itself in the foot way too many times in that game. But yeah, I mean, we're at a interesting point here where, are you satisfied with mediocre, or are you going to finally get some resources together and actually try to fix this thing? Because you can't just do what you're doing now and think you're just going to be successful. I mean, being a top dog in the Big Ten isn't easy, and sustaining it is not easy, and you got to have resources. And the struggle with the NIL and all that stuff, and you can recruit well all you want and develop, that's fine, but you still got to have resources. And the more that they have struggled to adapt and evolve and fundraise, they're going to get, the further left behind they're going to get, because you can't just rest on, oh, we'll find all the kids and we'll bring them in and we'll develop them. I mean, yeah, you'll have a somewhat of a hit rate there, but it's just not, you need money, and you need to spend it. So whether that means if Smith is the guy, I don't know. I think he was the good hire that Michigan State needed to make at that time. I think he was the best available at that time when they had to make it. But I think he's walking into a situation where I just don't think he's getting enough support. It kind of feels like a very much like Michigan hiring Rich Rod, and the fan base being so torn between being burned by Lloyd Carr and wanting to be Lloyd Carr. And then they bring in an outsider, like Smith, and there's no, straight direction of where to go. Everyone wants one thing and everyone wants the other, and there's not enough support. This day and age, you have to say it, you have to kiss some ass if you're a head coach. You have to kiss some ass, whether it's big donors, the elites in the university. You have to kiss some ass and curry up some favor here. And if there's not a consensus heading in the right direction, you're just floundering, and you're going to flounder. And that's what he's done the last 2 years. I mean, he's brought in his own quarterback, a quarterback that could be pretty good if they had more than Marshall.
Your average fan pointed this out. He was very tied to Childs, and if Childs isn't doing well, it's kind of hand in hand, right?
Yep. I mean, you could say the same about Sharon and Bryce too.
Yeah.
They're very much in the similar situation, being tied to each other. I think the Bryce experience is going just slightly a little bit better than Aiden Child's experience right now. But you gotta support your guy. And it's no longer your guy because you have a different AD in there. If you're Michigan State, you got the guy.
And they made a great AD hire. Alan Holler was a joke.
Yeah.
I got a lot of slack when he got hired because I'm like, how are you guys getting away with this? Yeah. He was Mark Hollis's right-hand man.
Right.
He's literally in the federal reporting. He was running the police department who was involved with the mishandling of like what? What are we doing here? And
I think you're starting to see that you can't just rely on the past. You gotta actively adapt. You can't just be like, oh well, this guy was good under Hollis, and Hollis had D'Antonio and all this stuff. Like you gotta move.
That felt like D'Antonio and Izzo getting their guy so they could continue to run the AD. That's what that felt.
You gotta adapt. You gotta adapt, and it's funny we're making this argument 2 years after the fact. They brought in probably one of the top candidates in college football of the cycle 2 years ago, but I mean it's all about fit too. I think
you just read my mind. I was just gonna say I have this debate with people about fit, whether it matters or it doesn't. When things aren't going well, it matters.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And is it likely that Jonathan Smith just made a mistake going after this Michigan State job? Yeah, probably. He could have done well somewhere else on the West Coast, but it takes two to tango. It doesn't take one person wanting to cut. You got to come together and so look, is it a mistake on both sides? Probably. Yeah, it's looking like that. And do you cut bait after 2 years? I don't know. I mean, you talk about the money. I don't know what Smith's buyout is, but you talk about the money. Yeah, it's probably not much, but if you want to be with the big boys, you got to spend like the big boys, and that's buying your coach and staff out and starting over. And with who? I have no idea. Who would want the job? I don't know. No idea.
I also think a big part of it, I don't want to get down the rabbit hole too much. I'm going to say this quick and then turn it into the Michigan side because we're a Michigan podcast. Kurt Cignetti kicking ass at Indiana.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
That doesn't help. And
doesn't help Sharon either.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, Kurt brought his people from James Madison with him, and it has worked. And the Oregon State guys didn't necessarily. And we're really going to learn about Kurt next year when all those seniors are gone and the James Madison guys are gone. So it'll be interesting to see. But look, this game still, and a lot of it comes from the players because what you've got on MSU is a lot of Michigan kids who grew up in the rivalry. Some of them were not recruited by Michigan and have that chip on their shoulder. But they learned to hate Michigan. It's part of it. And we knew this game was what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be ugly.
Yeah.
It was going to be closer than we probably wanted it to be. And for me, the only question was going to be the passing on MSU's secondary. And it's become a conversation again where it's like, I mean, even our own Brock Heilig tweeted, oh, I thought we were going to take the air out of the ball, blah, blah, blah. They tried at the start of this game. They were letting Bryce throw the football. Okay. And there were two close interceptions, including a underthrown ball into triple coverage. One that was the offensive lineman was standing right in front of him that could have been picked. The not fumble on the offsides call that came a little bit later. Right. But it was clear Michigan came in with their game plan and honestly did well, right? Open up 10-0. And then the second quarter kind of flips. And look, Michigan, and I'm sorry, I keep talking about this revisionist history thing, but like how many times do we talk about Jim Harbaugh? They're going to be aggressive. And then the game's closer than you expect. And they get super conservative and they do what they got to do to get out of there with a win. You want a Jim Harbaugh continuation with Sharon Moore, folks. You got it. This is what they're going to do. You can't confuse the potential of Bryce Underwood with the reality of Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall. They've got the two best. They've got maybe the best running back in the country. They have the best running back duo in the country. And in a game like that, where if it's close, a botched punt can seal things. You avoid mistakes. You run the ball. You get your defense some rest. They did what they had to do to win and come home. Like that game went exactly how we thought it would in my mind after Bryce's early struggles.
Right. You remember last week when we talked about that you don't win the same game twice, the same way twice. Look, it's just proving our point here. You don't win a football game the same way all the time. So last week, Michigan was able to open up a little bit through the air, and credit Michigan State's defense here. They did a lot of things to confuse a young quarterback. And let's be honest, Bryce didn't have a good day. It was not a good day at the office for Bryce, and that's fine. And it's okay because they won and he took care of the football. But what I've said multiple times throughout the day, in the den is that, he had a bad game. He didn't have his best game. And he's not the sole reason why Michigan struggled through the passing game, but he made mostly smart decisions, didn't turn over the ball, which, I'm not even going to argue the offsides or not offsides or whatever. Took care of the ball.
If I was a Michigan State fan, I'd be pissed at that call.
Yeah, I'd be. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it was close, and Michigan fans are going to say it was offside and MSU weren't. I mean, it was. Right.
Michigan's been on the side of that as well. I mean, it happens.
For sure. But, the Hutch touchdown or sack strip in 2021. Like, yeah.
So I think, I mean, what needed to win the game was rushing the ball, and it's really good that you had Justice Haynes. I think Jordan Marshall could have done the exact same thing. I would have liked to see him get maybe 5 more carries than what he did, because I think he had 15 in the game. I'd like to see it at least be closer to more of a 50-50 split, especially with Haynes working his way back. But I totally understand.
Marshall had 15 for 110 yards and a touchdown. Justice Haynes had 26 carries for nobody's ever going to get the Chris Perry performance of 51 carries ever again. Justice Haynes was clearly hurting last night.
Yeah.
And 26 carries for $152 and 2 touchdowns. That was a pretty heroic performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that just kind of necessitated what Michigan needed to do. It was do it on the ground, which is kind of the exact opposite of what Michigan State has done poorly with on defenses, that they were really bad with the pass. But I think they did a really good job of making life complicated for Bryce. And and credit to the offensive line for opening up holes and allowing these guys to do their thing. But it's not going to, you just not going to win the same game twice. There's going to be different things you have to do in a game. And am I a little surprised to see essentially what I think would be like a half a step back from last week? Yeah, but at the same time, running your way to victory isn't pretty. It's ugly. It's dirty. It's what Michigan does really well. And, I think I've watched Michigan a long time to know that that's what they are. Like, I don't know if you'll ever see pretty offense, the high powered, 400, 500 yard games. Like, I just don't know if you'll ever see that again, but they're pretty in their own way. It's a faith only a mother could love.
I think they will. But like we've talked about how young this team is. And again, I think a lot of people continue to measure this team against a mythical version of 2023 that doesn't even exist. Okay. But even then, in reality, was the most veteran team you will never see again because of the COVID exemption, because of the way Michigan got around roster rules. There was 170 kids on that team. Do you remember when you and I did our draft for the spring game? And we were like, we have 2 starting lineups here.
Yeah,
that's how deep that team was, that like we could each draft an O-line, a D-line, a set of receivers. Like that team was loaded, and guys came back in 23 instead of the pros. Anyway, young team. We need to be measuring against last year, especially on offense. What is, Chip doing better than Kirk? Where has the offensive line improved and stepped up? 3 redshirt freshmen starting on Saturday, right? Like, where are the strides? The receivers continues to look more and more like Andrew Marsh, a drop-off, McCulley, a drop-off.
Yeah.
And Bryce was under pressure on 52% of his dropbacks in this game. Okay. Completion percentage when clean, 66%. When under pressure, 25.
Yeah.
Yards, 81, 5. Big time throws, none. Turnover worthy plays, 2 when under pressure. Okay. Like the pressure was there, right? And 6 targets to Donovan McCulley, only 1 reception. 2 of 9 on throws more than 10 yards. At some point, yes, the Morgan drop pass. I'll get into that in a second. At some point, and I'm not mad at Bryce, and I'm not saying we need to pick on Bryce, but I just keep seeing like these tweets like, oh, I can't believe Sharon. Like, some people are so in their basket ready to get on the fire Sharon train again. Bro, Bryce Underwood didn't have a great game.
Yeah, I saw people blame Sharon for the snap that went over his head. Like, how is that his fault? He didn't snap the ball.
They won the football game. Running the ball was the right thing to do at that point. It just was, man.
Right.
And he's gonna get better. And he's a freshman, blah, 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 whatever. Like, if you're at the point where you can be 6-2, the 2 road games you lost were to the best offense at the time, the best defense at the time. Granted, USC was ugly. I wrote the article. I said it was indefensible. Okay, don't get on me about this. They lost the 2 games people expected they would. They lost the 2 games a lot of fans did. Bro, we talked all offseason. You guys all said 9-3, 8-4, maybe 10-2. I'm worried about going to USC. I'm worried about Oklahoma. Week 2, first game for Bryce. That's tough. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, this team should be 9-2 when Ohio State comes to town with a chance at a playoff. This is good. I like where they're going. The offense is better than last year. They're top 40 in a lot of regular metrics, a lot of analytic metrics compared to like 104th last year. They're getting there. The young guys are playing a lot. They're getting better. This was one. God, yeah, I wanted a blowout too. Okay. But 49-0, 2023, really,
that's a mirage.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know how many things had to line up perfectly? Again, the most veteran team. You had their entire identity, their entire success, everything they've accomplished was being questioned in the media. They were pissed, dude. Pissed. Michigan State was literally scared to play them. Do you remember this? Oh, we're going to cancel the game. Player safety. They were so worried about the stunts, the quarterback running back and forth between the sideline to get the calls. That was my favorite because they eventually dropped it because they were getting their butt kicked and they knew it was stupid. Okay. But I digress. Right. You won the game. And to their credit, I mean, I was sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for a fight or something stupid to happen. The last few minutes, they were able to get out of there for the first time in 3 years without some sort of dust up. So it is what it is. The issue is significant. Are we talking about Bryce is significantly worse on the road than at home? Why is the question? I mean, one, I think that's common, right? Especially with younger players who.
Yeah, communication is.
Yeah. Well, you're staying in a hotel the night before, and it's just kind of a funky deal. And the crowd noise. Most teams struggle more on the road. That's why it's called home field advantage. But yeah, it's glaring at this point. I mean, I agree with that. At least with Oklahoma and USC, it was like, okay, these are really tough opponents. These are really hostile environments. Michigan State, really poor secondary. You had 30% upwards of 95% by the end of the game where Michigan fans, they took over that stadium when the MSU fans get it. So I get it. Right. Game plan on the road changes too. Yeah, there's a lot of factors, but it's not good enough. I know that. I get that. USC was indefensible. This win, and Moore said it too. It's not good enough. They have stuff to work on. I agree with all that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I mean, he's a young kid. I mean, you're gonna have to deal with the stuff that comes with having a young kid at quarterback. Not even a red shirt. You know, it's not even like what Ohio State's doing with Julian Sayin. I mean, he's had a year in the system. This is Bryce essentially coming off the street and taking over an offense.
A
So
bad offense, guys. A bad offense.
putrid offense, and has actually somewhat made something out of this. I mean, and granted, they've added pieces too to make it better, but
what in the world?
You're just gonna have to take go with the good, take the good with the bad. I mean, yeah, they won. That's the good. The bad is that they didn't play their best and they still won. So
I wanted to talk about receivers quick. Sorry to interrupt you. Why is Samaj not getting credited with a drop and Donovan has 2?
Yeah, I think something might have went wrong there, but that was included in my grades.
Okay, that's not right.
So, because that would be his first 2 drops of the year if those counted as drop. That for
and
McCullough,
the slant to Samaj was a drop. It hit him right in the chest.
Yeah, right.
If you're calling it a drop because he didn't get his hands on it, well, that's hilarious. Yeah. Look, I mean, the Samaj thing's a dead story to me at this point. I've defended him a ton because I think he's better than he gets credit for at the things he's really good at. I think the coaches need to do a better job of only utilizing him in that way until he shows you otherwise. Like, you can't throw a power slant to him anymore. He's not going to catch it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know what it is. Like, is it the yips, or I don't know what it is. Like, it's yeah, he can't catch a pass, but he can catch a really difficult punt, which is that's kind of the mystifying thing about this whole thing. I don't know what it is. So, like,
I don't know if it's an anticipation thing. Like, on that was a hell of a throw Bryce made between a few defenders too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think confidence is a big piece of it too, right? Like, I think it takes more confidence to field a punt than it would to catch a pass from a quarterback if you're a wide receiver. I mean, maybe that's a hot take of me to say because I don't know. No, I know what you mean. It's hard. He's in his head too. When he fielded that punt at the 5, what that screamed to me is when that ball is in the air, he's thinking, "Oh my God, don't drop it, don't muff this." Like, he's thinking too much. He's thinking way too much, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell when a guy is thinking compared to just doing. And I think take Andrew Marsh, for example, that kid is just doing and not thinking. He was thinking earlier in the year. That's why he fumbled that return and struggling. Yeah. But you can tell when a guy isn't in his head and is, as you talked about.
We can see the start of reeling Samaj's role back. He had fewer targets in this game than he typically has. But the giant thing that stuck out to me is Samaj gets typically 85 to 90% of his snaps in the slot, and he gets the bulk of the snaps in the slot, right? Andrew Marsh had 25% of his snaps in the slot in this game.
Yeah.
That's a high number for him. Justice Haynes lined up in the slot twice. Donovan McCulley had 20% of his snaps in the slot. So they're clearly starting to bring Marsh, McCulley. I mean, Goodwin didn't get thrown to, but he was kind of back out there again. Klein, 26% of his snaps in the slot again. I don't know what's going on with the tight end usage. I think I might have to message our buddy Connor, see his thoughts on what's going on there and when he looks at the film. But Marshall, big star last week, had 13 snaps in this game, 7 in the passing game, no targets. Deacon Tonelli, that's going to mess with me forever. I've been pronouncing the I, but Deacon Tonelli, only 4 snaps. And, Klein had 49 snaps, only 14 in the passing game. But again, they didn't throw the ball a ton. So, but I thought for sure, like, when you put the Venn diagram together of this offense and what was going to become the blend of what Michigan has done for years, what Sharon Moore likes to do, and what Chip Lindsey likes to do and does well, tight end usage.
Right. That's probably the most
definitely in the
thing.
centerpiece. And yeah, it's weird that hasn't really come to fruition.
I mean, outside of the obvious of drop passes, I think tight end usage is probably the most disappointing thing. I mean, granted, you've had two guys that can't seem to stay healthy this year, and then, you get what you got last week and then totally go away from what worked well. And obviously that, Justice Haynes doing what he did helps. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the more disappointing things about this passing offense is just that, you lose Loveland and it all, not necessarily falls apart, but it all, you just forget all about the tight end position almost. I mean, they block really well. I'll give them that. Marlon Klein is their best blocker, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would the results be different if they got the tight ends more involved? I don't know if they win by the same number or more, but I mean, it is kind of, interesting how far away they've gotten from tight end results after losing Loveland. I mean, and the fact that Loveland did anything of value last year is an incredible feat on its own and worthy of a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he was banged up, man. And like I always thought, I know they've been hyping up Klein and his athletic ability. I don't mean this as a shot, like I mean this as a compliment, but he always struck me more as the AJ Barner.
Yeah.
I thought they should have used Barner more in the passing game in 23, but like he's the in-line guy, and that's what he's succeeding at. Like to your point, he's a great blocker. Jalen Hoffman showed in the spring game, his ability to get out and catch the football. They used him a lot in this game. I think it was 15, 13 snaps, but kind of in that Bredesen role. He was the lead block with Bredesen on that Underwood touchdown run. I wonder if maybe they're playing him more to gradually sneak him in there. I thought Marshall might get more run because of what happened last week. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my gut is you got to put it on Chip because you start at the top.
Right.
I'd be interested to know. Bryce is because the 6 targets with only 1 reception to McCulley, to me that screamed forced. That you're forcing the ball into him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested to know if like that's something the coaches think about, that he's going to certain targets and maybe not seeing tight ends or what. I haven't watched the tape on it, to be honest with you, to know, short of the TV broadcast. I don't think the TV broadcast does enough, but somebody asked all runs. Hoffman, 13 plays, only 3 were pass, but they were as a blocker, nothing as a receiver. So yeah, 3 pass block, 10 run block for Hoffman. Mm-hmm. But a healthy Justice Haynes brings this offense to another level. Hogan Hansen, we've been talking about all year that it's just the hammies lingering, whatever, whoever it is, that there needs to be that additional tight end threat. Mm-hmm. And the Marsh McCulley reps inside make me wonder, are we getting closer to a Jamar Browder X receiver with Marsh and McCulley on the field, those 3 at the same time? Is a healthier Haynes going to be used in the passing game more? Where does this continue to adapt over these next few games? It would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I know everyone is asking, what are they doing with Browder? I don't know if it's more about what Browder's doing. It's what Browder's not doing. I think the big thing from him heading into the year,
I was going to say, to be fair, he's ahead of where people were telling us he would be.
Yeah,
there were some pretty harsh conversations in fall camp. You and I weren't expecting him to play at all this year.
Right. Yeah, he is. And that's also part of why he's being talked about, but not quite there yet. It's he's just needs to figure out, the offense. You can't be, and I know I say this and it's going to be extremely hypocritical, but you can't go out there and be a liability. And obviously I know wide receivers are dropping passes. That's being a liability. But if you're able to block and the offense and know what needs to be done on any given play and know your role really, really well, you're at this point as a receiver, you're going to see the field. And that's a lot of it is why they're still trotting out Samaj and not punishing him for his drops, is that, these other guys aren't at that level yet of knowledge of the offense and things like that. So, I think Browder is close, and he's made, if what people have been saying heading into the year of him trying to just figure out the offense is true. I mean, he was a summer enrollee, so it's
True.
still very new to him. So I still think he's light years ahead of where he was at the in the mid to early fall camp. I think he's still just got to take a couple of steps, in the right direction. But that just kind of goes back to me thinking, don't talk about him if you're not going to see him, because then,
don't even get me started on that.
I know, but
like,
that's then
more talks more. He talks more and he's more candid than Harbaugh was. But oh my God, dude, if I hear we could have played him, well, he could have played. But we didn't need him. Like,
right, and then I get told Houseman and Benny are unlikely to play, but they play well. Benny didn't play a ton of snaps. Houseman played 68 snaps. It's like, what are we doing with injuries here? Like, come on, figure it out.
I'm so sick of it.
The injury report is such a joke. No one takes it seriously. Why?
USC played a guy who was listed as out.
Yeah, they got fined $5,000 for doing it. Like, what incentive is there to not do that? Like, what is $5,000 is a drop in the bucket. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Can we be clear about something as I open this can? Hold on. It's a farce to make betting sites happy.
Oh yeah, of course.
And because they're not quite professional, legitimately, and don't have player unions and things like that, they can't have the level of injury report requirements and responsibility and accountability that exists in the pro leagues. It's a farce and it's a joke.
Yeah, and look, anyway. I'm not looking to know. I don't want to know this kid's business, right? I'm not trying to know specifically what's wrong with the guy. How I just want to know, A, is he banged up or is he hurt? Or B, is he going to be out a week, 2 weeks, the whole season? And C, does this specific injury require surgical intervention, which will keep him out longer? I don't want to know. I don't want to know that. I don't want to get into HIPAA stuff, obviously. I just want to be accurately informed what to expect and to know what we're going to be talking about in the week. So I don't know. In the fact that, you say that people could play, now you're just kind of making them look out to be kind of soft when they're not.
A lot of the Will Johnson narrative last year was because of what Sharon was saying. Right. And I kept telling people, like, yeah, your average fan, you read my mind. Will Johnson could have went back in and never, dude, holy crap. Right. The exact same thing. It was so unnecessary to keep saying that.
Right.
So unnecessary.
Yeah. And then you got people accusing football players of being soft because they don't want to go in when it's not true. It is getting cold. It is getting cold.
It is cold. Yeah. You got, I'm going to look it up first to make sure I get this exactly right. So let me look it up before I say it. 38 minutes in. Okay. We always breeze through defense. So let's real quick touch on O-line. Because I want to give defense the time it deserves here. First off, shout out Andrew Sprague, who played the best game of his career against Nebraska, followed it up with the worst game of his career against Wisconsin, a much better game against USC, a slightly worse game against Washington, and now arguably the best game of his career against Michigan State. The dude's all Big Ten potential. He's just got to get consistent, but I thought he was great run and pass in this game. I really thought El Hadi was going to be this freaking run grader bulldozer truck. He's doing enough. He was good at pass pro, but like him and Crippen both, I'm just like, and Crippen with some of the calls and stuff at the line, another interesting conversation that could exist between what Bryce is supposed to do, what Crippen is supposed to do, and what's happening there. They're both good enough, but for these veterans that have been around forever, I continue to want more, if that's fair to say. Max Bredesen and Jalen Hoffman, unreal. Michigan's so lucky to have those dudes. And Blake Frazier did allow a couple pressures. I'm still very interested in the long-term this year and into next, what they're thinking with left tackle and left guard in terms of Frazier, Link, and you can't ignore an Andrew Babalola, and then Ty Haywood. If Guarnera moves back to the center, like I can't stop thinking about 2026 with this group and what happens now and moving forward. But look, they allowed too many pressures. It was a game that in the end, they, when it said, hey guys, we're going to run the ball down their throat, we need you to dominate. They did. Right.
Yeah.
So tale of two halves for me when it comes to the O-line, but
yeah, I think it really felt like Michigan as a whole just kind of slept walk through the first half. They just, was just not their brand of they just almost felt like they were playing with a massive lead they didn't have.
They thought their 10-point lead was 30 or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you were able to make them turn the ball over and not make them do anything during the first couple of drives, but it wasn't going to be that way the whole game. They were going to eventually turn it up a little bit. But I think whatever was said during the half was effective because they looked like a completely different team right off the bat. Probably were told to wake up and start get their butts in gear, and that's what they definitely did. But there were a couple of things from the O-line that I saw that I posted about on the message boards after the game. The first one was seeing what Jake Guarnera did with Channing Goodwin after a play. I can't remember what part of the game was. I think it was the first half. There was a little
one of the early scuffles. Yep.
Yeah, it was one of the early scuffles, and Goodwin was on the field jawing at people, and basically Guarnera runs from a good 5-6 yards away, grabs Goodwin by the shoulders and gets in his face and like, dude, we can't do this. You gotta and then guides him towards the sidelines. And to see that kind of leadership from a redshirt freshman, that was the only guy that ran up to Goodwin. There was no one else that did that, and it was Guarnera that did that. I think that speaks to a lot of A, his confidence in this offense, and B, his leadership capabilities. That's really savvy veteran stuff that he did, and his dad was a pretty good offensive lineman for Rutgers too. So it's the pedigree of knowing how to be a leader, knowing how to be a good football player is there. He's learned it firsthand with his dad. And then the second one, Blake Frazier, after the whistle, dumping that dude on his back. I mean, not smart at the time, right after the whistle, and he got yelled at by Sherrone Moore. That's why.
Oh my God, but I loved it.
Oh yeah, but that's something that you look back on. It was a clean block. The guy didn't get hurt. So that's something you can look back on the film and go like, yeah, that's pretty good stuff there, Blake. That's good stuff. That's the level of nasty that they have not had on the offensive line for a little bit. It's nasty.
What have I been saying? That's exactly
they need that.
I don't even want to talk about technique. I don't want to talk about footwork. I want guys that play to and maybe through the whistle, somebody that intimidates some dudes. Like Trevor Keegan was intimidating. Zach Zinter was intimidating. And then after a couple of years of starting, they were also NFL talented offensive linemen, right? But I want the offensive line to be mean again, right? Mm-hmm. Andrew Vastardis, Andrew Stuber were not necessarily the best top 150 recruits, like the kind of guys that Michigan's brought in the last couple of years. We're going to start to see in the next couple of years. They were veteran and they were mean.
Yep.
And it was just good to see an O-lineman fired up again, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got to get some hats on faces. You got to run through some people's faces, and that's the kind of stuff that you look at and just energizes you.
What do you guys think about moving Link to guard? I've said it all along.
Yeah. I hope it happens.
I
hope it happens personally. I think
somebody really good is getting left out. And I think there's also a good probability that Michigan goes in the portal and gets a very starter level experienced, at least one offensive lineman.
Yeah.
What position?
The argument could be made, like, is Guarnera a guard now or is he a center? And
I was just going to say, with how important the center position is, if you can go get I don't want to say go get an Olu because Olu is the best offensive line. Like there's not a lot of Olus out there, but like if you go out and get a very smart 2-year experienced center and Guarnera is now your right guard and Sprague is staying at right tackle. Now at left tackle and left guard, I have Frazier, Babaloa, Ty Haywood, Evan Link, Avery Gatch, Brady Norton.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like a lot of those guys and would like them to start, but I don't know, as much as I like the young guys, if I'm going into year 2 with Bryce and that 2026 schedule, as much as I'd like to say the O-line should be Frazier, Babaloa, left, you can swap them. I don't care. Frazier and Babaloa on the left, Guarnera, Haywood, and Sprague. That's a very young offensive line.
Yeah. Very talented too. I mean, it's a very young offensive line now, really. I mean, besides outside of El Hadi and Crippen, that's 3 redshirt freshmen on that line.
Yeah.
And to do what they're doing right now, which there's a lot, I mean, there's room for improvement, obviously. I mean, that's still pretty good for, all things considered. You lose Babalola before the year. They've dealt with injuries up and down the line. El Hadi's been out for like 4 weeks. Norton got banged up. Link obviously is probably not going to be back this season, maybe postseason, but not this season. I've been tough on Grant Newsome, privately to people, and I've been, down on what the offensive line has done. But all things considered right now, I mean, I think the right guys are in place, the right 5 are in place, and they're playing well. I mean, that's all you can really ask for from the coaching staff. And credit where credit is due. Newsome is getting it going, and that's good to see.
There we go. I yours is gray. His hat was black, but this is.
Compared to Joe Pesci, I'm honored. Rock wouldn't know who that is. Even know who Joe Pesci is.
Oh my God! Yeah, he'd be like, "What is this movie?"
Who's Joe Pesci? Who's Joe Pesci?
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
I probably
God.
didn't know what that movie is.
I saw a meme or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was like laid out like a comic book, and it was like what Home Alone would be if it happened now. And it showed like Kevin waking up. He's like, "Oh my God, where's my mom?" And it shows mom like, "Oh, we forgot Kevin." And then it showed him like answering the phone.
Yeah.
Answering his cell phone right away. Okay, sounds good. End of movie.
Texting his mom.
And it's so true, dude. You go back and I've been binge watching Seinfeld a little bit, or just like having it on in the background. And it's like almost every single like problem that they deal with in this show would not happen today.
Right.
Because they literally could just call somebody or look it up on their phone or whatever. It's so funny how these movies get dated. But anyway, all right. Good spot on offense. I think we can leave there. And let's get to the defense. I don't know. Do I owe him an apology? I don't know what I owe him. But Jimmy Rolder, my friend.
Oh man.
What a season. What a game last night. Led the team with 11 tackles, had a sack, had a fumble recovery, was incredible in coverage, had a pass break, a really, really good pass breakup on an out route, created 3 pressures, stepped up big time when Cole Sullivan got hurt. I saw the question. It's really early. Josh, I think, posted something in the den where you're in that stage, wait on results. He's probably dealing with some swelling right now, I'd imagine. So in the next couple of days, we'll hear, fingers crossed that Cole Sullivan doesn't miss a ton of time. What incredible player he's been. But man, Jimmy Rolder, you're talking about a guy who, let's be honest, in his freshman year, got some time, was looking like he was going to be the next Michigan linebacker. They bring in another freshman, Ernest Hausman from Nebraska, who kind of takes his role. He's dealing with injuries. He gets absolutely thrown to the wolves in 2023 against Ohio State. They pick on him immediately in coverage, and it's just a liability out there in coverage. Could have transferred. They go get Jay Sean Barham, just continue to see his role opportunities limited. he sticks around, he gets healthy and maximizes opportunities in his role, whether it's 10 snaps or 60 like it was against Michigan State. And yeah, Ralph, like I said, I when I'm going through my position groups and talking about these guys, Jimmy Roller being the best coverage linebacker on the team was not something I predicted. And just, I mean, we all know the Michigan man stories, right? That happen with guys like this, and just so cool to see a dude get healthy and be such not just an awesome contributor, but in the case of this Michigan State win, the best player on the field.
Yeah. It reminds me, that Ralph's comment reminds me of member berries from South Park.
I remember.
Remember Roller, the liability of passing plays?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Kate Stover got 30 yards on him. I remember.
Remember Chewbacca again? No, but it's safe to say that Jimmy found his role. Oh,
ew,
that was bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. He's been, that was the game of his life last night. Absolutely
unbelievable.
Fantastic. We're getting to the point now where it's like, you know, we were thinking, oh, where does Roller fit into the equation if he can stay healthy? To, man, I hope they can squeeze eligibility out of him next year, because that would be quite a coup to get him back for another year. I don't know if they can.
There's a year where he played 6 games, and I've been told they believe he will get a medical red shirt for that year if he pursues it.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't, to be honest.
Because the NCAA is crazy and you never know.
Right, exactly right. It's like I don't even bother knowing about eligibility anymore, because they hand out 6th, 7th years like candy these days.
Yeah, 2023 was 6 games. The interesting part, though, is he played at the back half of the year. Typically, a medical red shirt has to cost you your season.
Yeah.
And you don't play in the second half. So I don't know. But yeah.
Or you could just straight up sue the NCAA. It's fine too.
Bro, we got a kid that played He's 24, I think. A dude that played in the G League for 2 years coming back to college.
That's ridiculous.
What a joke.
Yeah. But I mean, they're gonna need Roller now more than ever, especially if what Cole Sullivan's dealing with is is long term, and I don't know if it's long term or short term or anything right now. I do not know. It's a possibility that he might have avoided a disaster, but again, that's just speculation at this point. But
the Tuttle here.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the NCAA wants to give it out, they can do it, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to see what, if Sullivan can't go, I'd love to see what Troy Bowles can give you in a larger role. I mean, he's been fantastic on special teams. Does this mean we get to see a little bit more of Nathaniel Olusi Boateng? Maybe. Oh, Don, that's so bad. That was worse than mine.
I disagree. His is much better than yours.
Well, yeah, but it was better, but it was worse. That's why it's better, because it's like, oh,
yes, fair enough. Yeah, next year Jimmy will be 1 year older.
Oh, that is bad.
The Tuttle doctorate, 7 years.
Yeah,
a lot of people go to college for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got.
Did Brock ever watch Tommy Boy? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, probably not. Look, you got Purdue coming up, and then a bye week. There's 2 weeks there, because I would be very, very surprised if Sullivan played on next week. So,
regardless of injury, I could see him being a bye week candidate. But look, for now in the future, Jimmy Roller, Cole Sullivan, Pro Football Focus, Big Ten linebackers, 14th and 15th right now in the conference. And like you said, Troy Bowles in limited action. We still got Owusu Boateng. I know they're still excited about the potential of a Chase Taylor out there. Some folks, that's funny that Marv picture is still here. Oops, let me get rid of that. Some folks have been asking about the linebacker recruiting, like, oh my God, what's going on? It's a spot they feel like they can address in the portal easier than other spots, and a spot where they feel really good about the players that they have. So that's just kind of where things are with linebacker moving forward. Somebody brought up Mason Curtis got a lot more run in this game. Correct. with Rod Moore out. We saw him take, interestingly, like we talked about him being in that big nickel position, and that's not really what happened here. He played a lot of box safety and free safety. Metcalf continues to be the nickel. And then behind him, Elijah Dotson and even Jair Hill are getting a lot of the run at nickel, but Mason Curtis looked good. Brandon Hillman in his first game back after missing some time, we'll just say that, played the second most snaps on your team. To your point, the guy we didn't think was going to play, Ernest Hausman, led the team with snaps played. So, oh man. But look, the group's starting to find level in terms of rotations and guys that are getting a lot of snaps, right? Enoetta is a guy on the defensive line who's seen his role increase even ahead of it.
Yesterday.
Yeah, he did
really well.
Payne and Williams are still kind of in that 30 snap range, which I told folks when they got added, they're like, oh man, I don't know. They haven't really played a ton of snaps. Well, they're not going to play a ton of snaps here either. They're playing the same role they did everywhere else. That's why they were perfect ads for that. Guy owe an apology to, again, Derek Moore. Really kind of picked on him as maybe a veteran guy that wasn't doing enough, in my opinion. 4 pressures, 2 sacks. Is that 2 straight games with 2 sacks, I believe? They're only crediting him with 1 for Michigan State. That seems wrong too. But anyway, putting together a couple of really good games towards the end of the year. He's now getting in that realm of definitely getting double-digit sacks potentially this year. So nice to see him turn around. The secondary is what it is, in my opinion.
I think they're fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I don't think they're absolutely fantastic elite, but they're fine. I think it's fine. I think TJ Metcalf has been really, really good and has not been talked about enough. I just think he's just been really solid.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's one of those spots where you don't get talked about a lot. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, right? Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, you're not a liability in coverage. So,
yeah. Zeke Berry, people like to pick on Zeke Berry. I think Zeke Berry's doing a great job. He had a great pass breakup out there. The Jair Hill one where everybody's like, oh, he could have picked that off. Guys, when that's in slow motion.
Oh, yeah, that was banged.
Like, it looks easy, but he was jumping the route perfectly. It got thrown behind. It was probably Nick Marsh, I'm assuming, and bounced off his shoulder or whatever. That would have been an unbelievable catch. He was responding to the play perfectly. I thought he did great. Basically, he was matched up on Nick Marsh the entire night almost. He was following him. And, I mean, the refs let him get a little handsy a couple times out there.
Yeah, he got away with a couple. It's not the first time he's done that. Gotten away with it.
And did Nick Marsh make a couple plays? Yeah, Nick Marsh is good. Nick Marsh is very good.
He looked great in a winged helmet.
It would never happen.
No.
I know him and Bryce are cool, and I just like Jaden Mangum doing it's not the same thing as Nick Marsh doing it, man.
Oh God. Oh man, if Nick Marsh did that, that would
I think if he transferred to Alabama or something at this point, it wouldn't have the vibe of Keon Coleman because it would be like, we get it. I think Michigan State fans would be like, yeah, we understand, man. We appreciate what you tried to do, but yeah, you go off. If he came to Michigan, oh my God.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you go from Michigan or Michigan State to Michigan, which never happens, but or even people were, when Ben Van Sumeren transferred to Michigan State, everyone was freaking out. He didn't do anything in Michigan. It's like the ultimate act of betrayal of it doesn't matter if you've got 1 snap or 1,000 snaps in your career. It's the premise. It's the premise of it all.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really any point talking about it way ahead, but it's a weird thing to me. Yeah. Like he's more of a Michigan State whatever than you'll ever be.
Right.
As a fan. And he made the decision he made. Like, who are you? I don't know. I still remember having a hard time rooting for Chris Chelios when he first came to Detroit because that was so hard. And now it's like, I think he very much had a career as a Blackhawk and a career as a Red Wing. And I was
with that. I was the same way with Bertuzzi. when
Oh
he
God, yeah.
and I'm like, oh no, not Bertuzzi.
Well, and they had that phase where it was Hull and Madonna and like
Yeah.
even Hasek and Curtis Joseph, and it was like, oh, this is
They were
weird.
the retirement home there for a minute. I mean, it worked early, and then after that, it did not. But
Anyway, is Jason Barham being used wrong? Look, he belongs on the edge. I will continue to say that forever for his pass rush abilities. He was a liability in the run game. It's such a harsh way to put it. He wasn't great in the run game necessarily at linebacker either. He was missing gap assignments and over pursuing and going to the runner, not to his assignment. The comp that I got on him from somebody early on that I continue to say is spot on is Josh Uche.
yeah,
and I think that's how he needs to be used. And I think they're kind of starting to lean that way because after
look at this dipshit comments. Cheaters and beat at it. I
don't get it.
Spell moron. He's supposed to say cheaters and best, but he dipshit said funny. Beat.
Oh, the Walmart thing kills me too.
If you're gonna insult, at least get it right, moron.
But no, Barham kind of took TJ Guy's job for a minute there, but Guy played almost 30 snaps in this game. Nate Marshall was on the field again. Dom Nichols was out there making some plays. So they're continuing to rotate a little bit that edge spot. So that'll be one to watch moving forward. But
yeah. Well, and I think too that, there's film on him now at edge. So you've got something to look at. I mean, Central Michigan had no idea what it was doing with Barham at the edge. I mean, they didn't see it before, so they had nothing to really, and they weren't aware that this was going to happen, and so it kind of got sprung on them. And granted, it's not comparable programs, but there's film now. I mean, even Nebraska struggled with it because they didn't have much film on Barham on the edge. So I think it's kind of learning to kind of tweak with that, and it's a mix of a bunch of stuff. Barham still trying to figure out the position, the coaches utilizing him in that position, and then the film also being available that coaches can diagnose too, I think is out there as well. So it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I don't know. Do you think about moving him back to linebacker now with if Cole Sullivan is out for a long time? Probably not, but it's an option. I don't know. I mean, they'd have to be really, really bad, at the linebacker group without Sullivan for me to think that they do that. But I don't know.
I mean, I think you play him as a Sam linebacker. He's Jalen Harrell before he moved to the edge full time in his senior year. He's Josh Uche. Like, that's it. But for me, big picture, I've been saying all along, this is a year of 3 seasons for me. Mm-hmm. And we're coming to the end of the second, right? So the first one ends. Yeah. What do we got? We're over an hour. Yeah, maybe. Did you watch basketball or no?
No, I watched football. Dennis.
Well, no, I know. I was up at 2:00 in the morning and I ended up watching the basketball game.
I didn't watch it. No. Dennis. Dennis.
Oh yeah, Dennis was on it.
Yeah.
We can touch on it in a second, but when the first part of the year, the bye week ended, I said, you know what? Michigan's 3-1. They had the one loss with Oklahoma, so they still didn't have a loss in conference. This is where I hoped they would be. They're on track. Perfect. Next week, you host Purdue, and then you got another bye week, and then you're on the road until Ohio State comes in a month, right? So assuming there isn't a catastrophic failure, you can go into this game against Purdue and probably allow some guys to get healthy this week and into the bye and come back for the game at Wrigley at Northwestern, right? But you should be able to get through this stretch 4-1 and come out 7-2, realistically still a contender in the Big Ten, one of those top 4 teams in the Big Ten, a legitimate playoff contender, and staring down the path to a 9-2 game, being 9-2, playing Ohio State, hosting Ohio State with a chance to beat them for the 5th straight year. I almost couldn't say it because it's weird, and earn a playoff berth and lose that game. I know people, God, Can you imagine losing to Ohio State? Who would ever? Like, it's hard to fathom that. But again, if there's a 9-3 year where you lost to on the road Oklahoma, on the road USC, and Ohio State, that's kind of what everybody was predicting at the beginning of the year, right? And then we're talking about the tangible progress of Bryce, the offense, the other young guys on the defense, whatever. But at this point, I'm happy to give Sherrone Moore and this staff another bye week and another opportunity to clean up the stupid little bullshit things that I know they see because we see, and get to that 9-2 game, having us believe they can beat Ohio State again.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, how could you not believe you could beat Ohio State until they prove otherwise? I mean, again, it's one of these things where it's like Ohio State has to prove it can beat Michigan now, then Michigan can prove it can beat Ohio State. I mean, they've done it time and time again. So, they're right on track. They're right on pace to where, we pretty much thought they would be. Maybe some of the losses are, you could kind of mix and match where we thought it would be, but I struggle to see people that are so down on Michigan, like Michigan fans being so down on the program right now.
Yeah, Dave just asked if Moore is safe. Moore was always safe, guys.
He's not getting fired this year.
Like,
he's not. Yeah. I mean, if they were 2-6, maybe, but not at 6-2. They're not going to fire a coach being right where everyone thought they would be. It's not like this is a disappointing season by any means. I mean, they're not living up to expectations in some ways, but they're exceeding expectations in a lot of other ways. So, I struggle to see why life should be that bad in Ann Arbor right now. They're still very much in control of their destiny. They win and you're in. I mean, it's that simple. 10-2 team, Michigan team that beats Ohio State is in the playoff. So, they're right on track, right on where they need to be. So we'll just have to see what happens from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, a playoff berth would be pretty awesome, and I think even the harshest critics of Sherrone Moore at that point would go, okay, right. And we've talked about this a bunch. I think what he inherited has been very underappreciated. I think a lot of people are like, oh, he took over a national championship team. No, he did not. Most of that national championship staff was taken to LA with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, the staff included. Not even talking about the players.
Yeah, the players, a lot of them left. The NCAA cloud that continued to hang over this program, whether it was the attention of it, the actual investigation and process of it, for him to flip Bryce Underwood from LSU and recruit at the level that he did last year and this year with that NCAA cloud, I think is incredible. You had a recruiting department that was understaffed, undertrained, and at odds with its own recruiting department, its own compliance, let alone with the NCAA. Breaking news, a big reason Michigan's punishment, I know it felt harsh in language, but the reason it wasn't harsher in punishment is because of all the strides Sherrone made in terms of improving the staffing at recruiting, the compliance, the training, all of those things. And I think a lot of people hate Ward Manuel and believe he chased Jim Harbaugh away. And that frames a lot of their thinking of Sherrone, right? And there's another reality of this. If Jim Harbaugh had stayed, if the Chargers didn't offer him the job, Jim Harbaugh would have been fired at the end of this NCAA investigation. Michigan would have had no choice but to fire him. The punishment would have been significantly harsher because he would still be the head coach here. I'm not getting into the weeds about the NCAA hating Jim for the things he did and spoke out about. That's a whole nother, we could spend a week. We spent 3 years talking about it. I know there's a lot more complexity to that. But I just, the room's got to breathe a little bit on this. And I agree, there are mistakes that can be tied to coaching. Again, I put the article out there. I put my name on it, guys. I'm with you. This isn't perfect. Sometimes I think he just looks like a second-year head coach.
Yeah.
Which is what he is, right? So
yeah, I think he's a lot better than where he was last year. And that's really what you can ask for at this point when you compare, a guy in his first year considering what he's had to take over from this point to now. I think he's made strides, and there's strides that he needs to make still. And look, that's just part of it. That's part of the whole thing. I mean, the new life nailed it. Great recruiting covers a lot of flaws. Yes, if you're able to develop guys, your warts get covered up a little bit. There's some that you can't ignore, especially in special teams, but that comes with surrounding yourself with right people. And, that's up to Sharon to realize that. I mean, he did it with the offensive coordinator. We'll see if anyone, if there's shuffling after the year. To me, there should be, but we'll see what happens. I don't think there's a whole bunch of changes that need to happen. But if you're talking about special teams, something's got to be done there.
Yeah. And you know what? A big thing I've said I like about Sharon is his ability to candidly identify problems and openly speak about plans and then see them implemented and then see success. We talked about immediately when he was hired, recruiting. This is what's going to happen. This is what we need to do. And we've seen it tangible in results. We've seen it with the little attention to details and the improved communication. I mean, the barbecue thing, we've joked about that shit matters. Like, it's a big deal, right? We've seen those things. The offense to move on from Kirk quickly, to go outside of your comfort zone and hire Chip Lindsey, somebody you didn't have an existing relationship with, to see the quarterback problem and get Bryce Underwood, right? Like, I've seen you do it. So moving forward, does that continue to happen? Right. We've heard about the tough conversations and everything coming out of USC, specifically on the defensive side. We've seen improvement there. The one, special teams is real right now. Like, what happens there and those changes he's got, does he continue to notice those things and make positive changes? That's it.
Yeah. He's not stupid. He's not, he notices these things. And, sometimes it's easier to not make decisions during the middle of the year. Especially if you're in contention for your bigger things, if things were really an issue, why would you hamstring yourself by getting rid of an extra coach right now? Unless it's really, really bad, of course. But like, if you're on the cusp of like, all right, well, yeah, we probably could get through the year with this, but it's not good. I don't know why you'd hamstring yourself by just,
or maybe we have to, or
unless you absolutely have to, like, it's a big, like the dude got in trouble or something, it's a tough situation because there's optics involved in it too. You have to think about, and not saying that like a special teams coach is like, the optics are really big around a special teams coordinator, but you have to think these things through. And again, that's all part of learning. It's all part of learning and being a coach.
And also you're learning in a new landscape of balancing the coach and analysts. Right. We talked about like having a dedicated special teams coach kind of seemed crazy to me because you can have analysts do it. Right. And we've seen Michigan move to a situation now where Grant Newsome has Juan Castillo and Ron Bellamy has Soup Campbell. Oh my God. Why couldn't I think of that? That was scary. On the defensive side, we talked about in the secondary, man, Morgan needs help because Morgan's not just replacing Clink. He's replacing Minter. Because he's replacing Jay Harbaugh. Well, behind the scenes, Lionel Stokes is the safeties coach, but he's technically an analyst. Right. And I don't know if people realize JB Brown and his father, the impact that they've had on Texas recruiting is mass. I mean, go look up the last couple of years of Texas recruits. They deserve a lot of credit for that, especially in the Dallas area. Brown's dad is like a legend in that area. So I don't know if it was like, hey, having him in this role allows him to recruit and hey, he can do specialty. I don't know. I don't know what goes into that decision and how you adapt that and morph it moving forward. Jay and then Bellamy helped out with special teams as well. Like in the past, I don't know what that looks like, but we'll see. If nothing's done, then you start going,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. But if anything's done, then okay. Like,
I think the new life nailed it here. The sense of urgency. I think that's what you want to see. Like, not complacency from him and his decisions. Like, as you said, like just sitting on his hands and not doing anything. That's when you get concerned. Yeah. I think he's actively going out and
I don't get the everyone's buddy thing. Like this has been like a criticism now. Like
I think
because he's looked at as a player's coach, so like people think he doesn't hold people accountable.
Yeah, because he's the polar opposite of Harbaugh, and Harbaugh was an asshole.
Is he though?
What? Who? Is Sharon not an asshole?
The polar opposite of Harbaugh? Really? I don't think so.
I think. You think him and Harbaugh personality wise are similar?
Yes.
Really?
I mean,
like,
Harbaugh,
you could have a whole conversation. You could all right. You're sitting at the bar with Harbaugh and Sharon. What?
Hold on.
Hold
on. Hold on.
I'm talking about personalities, like in terms
okay,
of
because you and I are both what I would consider neuro different, right? Like right. I think you and I could have some goofy conversations with Jim. They're different in that way, absolutely. Jim was a player's coach.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm not bagging on Jim Harbaugh and saying that he was terrible.
Well, no, you're not bagging on him, but
I think a player, if you were a player, would be much more comfortable going to Sharon with their problems than they would Harbaugh, because I think Sharon would understand a player, modern player, better than Harbaugh would now. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And I'm not I'm not trying to bag Harbaugh or compare the two, but I'm just saying that I think, being that player's coach, being exactly like this comment here mentioning Biff, like Biff is a player's guy. Like if you compared Biff and Harbaugh together, I think players would much be more open to going to Biff with something compared to getting on the same level as Harbaugh. I mean, Harbaugh's level, there's Harbaugh level, and then there's everyone else's level. Like, there's no gray area. Like, I don't know. I mean, do you, like, your average fan mentioned it here, like Bryce taking selfies during the game, like, is that probably a bad look optic-wise? Yeah, Harbaugh probably would have chewed his ass out for it. But, like, sure, like, that stuff, like, okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough, I don't know. I don't think it matters, but I don't know where we were going with this argument anyway. But
I don't either. But like, again, this is where I'm coming back to this revisionist thing. Like players feared Harbaugh.
He did it. No, his way worked.
I know, but like the guy talked about love and hugging guys all the time. Like, here's the thing. You had to be around Harbaugh enough to break into his orbit, okay? And you can tell the guys that did, whether it was being able to get on his wavelength or whatever, but like JJ McCarthy, for instance, Blake Corum, Sainristil, still, Mike Barrett, these guys that have gotten into the orbit of the teddy bear part of Jim Harbaugh or whatever, right? Like, I get what you're saying, your average fan, but like, if you don't think, like, here's what I'm getting at. You see Sharon Moore, this happened in the last few weeks. You see him on the sideline with these brief moments of camera shots, and everybody decides, oh, he doesn't even care. He's not into it. He's not doing this or that. And then in another game, you see him, the camera actually shows him like yelling and whatever. And it's like, oh, I'm glad to see this fire in him and blah, because the TV showed it.
Right.
In his meeting with the interview after the game and whatever, he's like, yeah, good game for us. We figured some things out. And he did the coach speak. Derek Moore was kind enough to go on Instagram live in the locker room. Yeah. Okay. And Sharon Moore said, hey, let me hand out these game balls so we can get out of this shithole.
Wasn't that nasty? I thought it was nasty ass town.
Whatever it was. Okay. Like,
I think it was nasty ass town.
Yeah. Like the guy with play, and Jim, you and I have talked about this with Jim all the time too. How he almost made fun of the media appearance and like how in communicating with the press. He trolled us so hard.
Yeah.
Right. Especially if he didn't like you. Okay. A gentleman I'm going to call RS for now would write these harshly critical articles. And I remember Jim literally said to him one time, I feel like you already have your story written and you're just trying to get me to give you the quote for it. Like he wasn't scared to call somebody out. Right. But you could walk 15 feet over to the side at the Chrysler Center, or you were at like a charity event or something at a basketball gym. What was it where he talked? Anyway, you get out of
that was
you get off the record and you're just talking with him off to the
yeah.
side, and he was so engaging, nicest guy in the world. You know, yeah, the master of awkward silences. Yes.
Yeah, there's a big gulf. There's a big gulf in football Harbaugh and non-football Harbaugh.
That's a better way.
When Harbaugh is in football mode, you cannot break down that exterior.
Yeah.
When he's not in football mode, you can access him.
Perfect. We just figured this out in my head. I appreciate it. I think Moore is much closer to the same guy all the time.
Yes.
But talks in coach speak. Jim Harbaugh almost has split personalities. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the real Jim and the one that players know in locker room and practice Jim versus, you know, the version that maybe got presented out there in press or whatever. But
yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I buy the whole, like, oh, your players got to fear you as a coach to be successful. I think there's different ways of, especially now in the modern day, trying to connect with a player. You know, I don't think, yeah, you still have to be afraid of making a mistake because you don't want to lose your job as a player. Yeah. But I think
but that was a harsh criticism of Jim, that we talked about meritocracy all the time, but then it didn't happen.
Right.
And upperclassmen got way more leeway than we thought. You know, I mean, I guess this is my point with the revisionist history, was like, we used to talk about meritocracy not being real with Jim. Like that was a problem. That was a common criticism, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there needs to be this level,
because I don't like trying to diagnose somebody, but
yeah,
you know.
I think there doesn't necessarily have to be a level of fear that a player has, but that's true. Exactly.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah. The kids or the teens are different. The money, now they're getting paid. It's a whole new world out there. And you know, if they fear the coach, they leave and go somewhere else. You know, it's just, that's kind of thing. So yeah, exactly. Ralph just mentioned it. He just mentioned exactly what I said. In today's football world, the kid just transfers after getting yelled at. Exactly. So yeah. I think that's another layer to being a coach. You have to figure out, you're a dude trying to coach football and also trying to figure out a teenager at the same time. Like,
oh my God. Semi-bipolar. That would be quarter polar. That is funny. I'm sorry. That's funny.
That is the purest Michigan fan comment I've ever heard in my life. And Don, that's not an insult. That is a compliment, because only Michigan fans could think of that.
That's funny.
well done.
And you and I are both
please don't take that as an insult. That is a compliment.
No, look, you and I are both very passionate about mental health related stuff. I've never hidden. I've got the tattoo right there, my son. And I love being able to laugh at shit like that. So that's good stuff. Rolled and Polar. That's called the callback, folks.
the Warhammer.
Jimmy Rolder and the Quarter Polars. Oh my God.
That's pretty good.
That's a ska band, maybe?
That'd be a good trivia team name.
It's a good yeah. I went band, but yeah, that's
ska band would be good too. Yeah. I just can't see Jimmy Rolder with a trumpet or a saxophone or whatever.
Oh, he'd be on bass, wouldn't he?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Seems like a bass guy.
Yeah. They call him Slapping Jimmy.
Oh. I don't want to say that too loud. Oh no. I don't know if you want that kind of nickname.
I don't know if you've ever watched a full episode of Victor's Weekly, Josh, but this is a moment in the show where Nick starts to get really uncomfortable because he's like, "Oh, we've kind of gone off the rails a little bit." I'm like, "Bro, this is what we do."
Oh yeah, no, he'll learn. He'll learn.
This is how I finish shows. This is we get crazy and weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had an actual point. Oh, on the transfer thing. That's another pro Moore thing right now so far. He did an incredible job of retention during the coaching change into the 24 season. And I thought a great job through 25 as well. Cause I mean, you and I heard Derek Moore, Rayshon Benny, TJ Lag, all these guys were gone. Right. So
yeah, I think Mr. Martini brings up a good point too. I think, he's asked, you think that's what happened at LSU? Kelly's a big yeller. The players just tuned out. It's a shtick thing. I mean, look, I don't know who's a good asshole coach these days. I don't know who that would be. I mean, probably. I mean, I can't think of one like
Kirby.
Saban. Yeah, Kirby. Well, yeah, but he lets his guys do whatever they want. So I don't know if that's a good example. But Nick Saban.
All right. When the car's parked.
Yeah, when they're not allowed to drive very fast in cars, it's a shtick thing. I think
somebody puts he's the Kurt and Jim Harbaugh came from the same.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, Kurt, yeah.
Very Jim Harbaugh-esque him and Kurt.
It works until it doesn't.
Yeah,
Kelly's style of coaching works until it doesn't, and the bottom has fallen out multiple times for him. The shtick gets old. People get sick of your stuff. You yelling all the time and you're not seeing results. They're just gonna be like, "Shut up, dude! Like, go away! Like, this isn't." So it's not. And Brian Kelly's just a bad dude. Period. But it's fine. But
yeah. I used to have I have some very strong opinions on Brian Kelly, so I'm gonna be careful here. I had a coach who would coach you hard and yell at you, and he used to say something that I thought was so corny, but he'd like, remember, I'm doing this because I love you. I was like, oh God, whatever. But you know what, like, I don't care who it is in your life. If there's somebody who is harsh with you when you need to hear it, but you know where it's coming from, right? And this is to defend Jim in this point, right? People respected Jim in the moment he was being a hard ass. Like that level of, it was a respectful fear, right? They wanted to please him. Right. And they knew they let him down or whatever. And then there's people that are just assholes. And there is enough stuff out there publicly about Brian Kelly. I'm not even gonna get into it, but like, sometimes you're just an asshole, dude. And during the Underwood tide turning, and you and I talked about, we'd been hearing things for weeks. I know there was this impression that like Michigan got a bunch of money and threw it at Bryce and things changed. No, that conversation had been going on for a long time. And we knew things were closer than LSU people knew. But I've talked about this before. The game where LSU loses to Florida, I don't remember who it was.
Was it A&M? Or Alabama?
Last year, Nussmeier makes the mistake, and the game's over, and Nuss is coming to the sideline, and you can tell by his body language before he gets there, he already knows what's coming. He's detaching his retinas by rolling his eyes so hard. Kelly's just like he never makes a mistake, right? And the way he was yelling at his quarterback, and in that moment, what happened is happened. There's no correcting in that moment. It's about what you do in the future and moving forward and trying to be like, hey man, here, and all he wants to do is belittle him. And I couldn't help but think, man, I hope the Underwoods are watching that. Yeah. Remember when that happened? Like, wow, and then, we find out that Kelly is going to, now I can't think of his name. Who went to Alabama quarterback last year? Keelan, what's his name?
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Crap. Yeah.
Anyway, so before Bryce has publicly flipped, Keelan Russell.
Yep.
Kelly stops by to see Keelan Russell's coach and whatever, and say like, this is who he's wanted all along. And he talks shit about Bryce on this visit. You don't think the people around Russell are going, wait, the guy that's been committed to you for a year, you're gonna try and get me to flip at the last moment while you dog him?
Yeah, right.
What? So And even like this meeting, it sounds like the AD comes in and they're like, hey, we think you need to do this or that. And it becomes this heated argument. And Kelly pushes back on everything. Like, I don't know, man. It's sad. I mean, the loss of with this professional part of it, like players deserve to get played, all that, whatever. But like the Kirk Ferentzes of the world, those guys aren't going to be allowed to exist anymore. Guys that just like are actually good coaches and like developers of men, like, because LSU didn't care what was in Kelly's background. They thought he would help them win football games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And in the end of the day, like somebody's going to hire Brian Kelly again.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And if I'm telling you, like if he went to Michigan State, like that might not be it. I mean, that'd be a great hire for them. I don't know what the bar would be, but like, the guy leaves. He was going to try and blame everything in Sloan if he didn't get fired. But yeah, I know I've seen all the Sloan rumors. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is it works when it works.
Right.
No one cares when it works, but it cares when the people care when it doesn't. And I don't think it's not working in Ann Arbor right now. I think it's working fine.
Shit, Bobby Petrino might get rehired permanently.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that dude is at all places back to where he got fired from originally, or no? Did he? No, he went to the Falcons, right? He didn't quit. No, he didn't get fired from Arkansas. Didn't he quit on Arkansas to go to Atlanta?
I thought that I can't remember. I thought he quit on Louisville to go to Atlanta and then went to Arkansas.
Oh, you're right. I think you.
Am I right? I don't know. The bike accident happened when he was at Arkansas.
Yep. Because he quit on one of the teams, just up and quit on them.
Yes, he quit on Louisville to go to the Falcons for a year. Then bailed on the Falcons, went to Arkansas, got fired,
and then bailed on
Western Kentucky for a year. Then Louisville hired him back for 4 or 5 years.
Unreal. Talk about failing upward. Well, his version of upward. I wouldn't say that's.
But then, he started doing OC gigs, Illinois for a year, Texas A&M for a year, and then Arkansas for a couple of years, and now he's their interim head coach. So,
yeah,
he left a note in the Atlanta locker room. Yeah.
God, that was so long ago. I'm surprised
he bailed on the Falcons in the middle of the season. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he bailed.
Missouri State. Oh my God, so wild.
I can't believe I remembered that. Such
Kelly
an obscure fact.
Kelly going to UCLA. Interesting.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
If things were better, like in terms of the split up, Penn State would make a ton of sense. Like he's such a midway dude. Notre Dame was the perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I don't know why he left.
Because he's arrogant.
Well, true, yeah. And he probably got offered a bag. Notre Dame is such a cushy job right now. As long as they stay independent, you've got it made. Because you're going to be overrated as hell as a head coach. People are going to love you for no reason. And you're just going to be playing fluff teams all year. I don't know. It's
until the negotiations don't give Notre Dame an equal seat at the table, the same as conferences.
Right.
That's the big deal. When they have these meeting with conference leaders, Notre Dame has their own seat at the table.
Right. That's ridiculous.
That's their power, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I'm telling you, when they made this 12-team format, it was like, okay, we're going to do auto buys for the conference winners, though. So you're going to have to play an extra game, Notre Dame. They went, okay, sounds good.
I could see like an Alabama having that type of power, but Notre Dame having that type of power doesn't make any damn sense to me whatsoever.
He left Notre Dame the winningest coach.
It's ridiculous.
In Notre Dame history.
And we all know he's an ego guy. I don't know why you'd give that up.
At Notre Dame,
you're a walking god, no pun intended. You're a walking god there. You know, I mean, well, people were kind of sick of him towards the end there, but I mean, he won. You know,
that was the point though. Is you got to finally win a natty. You got to finally win a natty at Notre Dame, and instead of like admitting like he didn't get the team over the hump, it's because of Notre Dame.
Right.
I'm gonna go to a place where they give me resources. And I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah, pretty much. The exact same thing towards the end there, except he snuck those guys in. in the college football playoff. So I don't know, whatever.
Well, we spent a lot of time at the start of the show on Jonathan Smith and a lot of time at the end of the show on Brian Kelly. So
yeah, I'm saying it's it's nice. I said on Twitter, it's nice to observe chaos when it doesn't involve the team you're covering.
is that what this says? You and I are just like swimming in other people's misery.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm enjoying it. It's got nothing. I don't have to worry about it.
I didn't have all this gray hair till 2023.
Yeah, I don't have to send any countless text messages to people. I can just watch and sit back and watch burn. Michigan.
No. In what ways?
Resources. You're going to have a hell of a lot more money in Michigan.
LSU's a top 3 job in the country, dude.
You talking about right now or like overall?
This is what I'm saying. Like, we need some parameters here, but like
right now, yeah, probably LSU. But
like, I would rather live in Ann Arbor. I would rather compete in the Big Ten. I would rather be a part of the ecosystem that is Michigan. Like, right. But like, he left Notre Dame for LSU. Like, the talent that exists in Louisiana, the advantage that is that stadium, the passion in the terms of literal support and financial. I know what you're saying, like resources, guys. They stole from a hospital to help the team win football games. They're paying this $50 million buyout. Like,
yeah,
that money
I agree with this comment. They're pretty much in the same. I would say they're in the same tier. I think they're in their own ways. It's good. I mean, both are good jobs in their own ways. But yeah, I would put them up in the same tier.
I just think, I mean, there's when you have a great job in a tier, but you would leave for another one, right? Like Oklahoma thinks they're in a great tier, and Lincoln Riley left for USC, right? Like, people at Jimbo Fisher was at Florida State, and people thought he was going to LSU. They thought Lincoln Riley was going to LSU. Like, there's jobs that like you could hire. Like, Dan Lanning probably doesn't leave Oregon, but he's answering the phone if LSU calls.
Oh yeah, that's to parlay a bigger paycheck.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, it's that. I mean, that's a big job. But
yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't want to coach there because of, like I said, that you get into a whole bunch of other elements. But
if you can recruit the state well, you'll do well at LSU.
Yeah, Georgia, Bama, Ohio State. Unfortunately, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, Texas. I mean, Texas is still a massive job. You think a coach would leave Michigan for another school?
Actually, the question was, you think a couch would leave? Well, just ask our friends at East Lansing. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, well, we've seen a coach leave Michigan for the NFL, vice versa. So, I mean,
yeah,
if the situation is right and the money's right, money talks.
You're all good, dude.
No, I'm just making fun of you.
But I think this is why fit. I think this is why fit matters so much, though.
Yeah.
Right, yep. Because at this point, Sherrone Moore and what his development has been and what Michigan has done for him and what Jim Harbaugh did at Michigan, like, he's said publicly and privately, like, he wouldn't leave for the Oklahoma gig.
Yeah.
His alma mater. And closer to an area that he grew up in.
Yeah, so, like, let's say Penn State came in for some reason and offered him $10 million a year. I mean, he'd be stupid not to listen. Would he take it? That would be hard to turn down, considering he's making like not even half of that right now. I don't know. I mean, would he leave? I don't know. It's not even worth discussing because it's not even in the realm of possibility.
See, this is an interesting debate. Like, is Oregon top 5? A lot of it depends on the coach that's already there.
Yeah.
Has Dan Lanning made Oregon a top 5 job? Because Mario Cristobal left to go to Miami.
Yeah, they were very average.
Yeah, I know you got the Nike money.
Yeah. I think it's all about what's happening at that moment with Oregon.
Yeah. Well, and like, people forget, Alabama wasn't Alabama before Saban got there. They'd been on a really rough stretch, dude.
Yeah.
Like Alabama was what at that point? I mean, what Nebraska is now?
Yeah.
Is that like
probably
fair?
Probably a little worse.
So I mean, Nick Saban comes in and makes them not only just the peak of football, but like their enrollment has like tripled, I think, since Nick Saban took over the football program, so like Kalen DeBoer had to jump at that opportunity, but but Nick Saban made it that right there. There's some programs that I feel like, where is Shula coaching?
No way.
Mike
Really?
is?
Wow.
He's got to be the OC for some random school, right?
Mike Shula?
It was Mike Shula, I think. Yeah.
He's a football coach. Offensive coordinator for South Carolina. Wow.
He's Beamer's OC. How did I not know that?
That explains a lot. They're having a horrible year too. They're doing really bad. Almost beat Alabama though.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll go to Vatech now.
I don't know.
His dad was at that game. Virginia Tech and South Carolina played this year, and Frank Beamer wore a South Carolina hoodie. I thought that was crazy.
Beamer Bowl.
I thought that was crazy. Man, this coaching cycle is going to be chaos because like we're all talking about like the obvious things, and something's going to. Nobody had Lincoln Riley going to USC. Nobody had Brian Kelly going to. Something crazy is going to happen this year.
Yep. Always does.
I never loved my son.
That's funny.
I would have pulled the Rob Lowe and wore an NCAA hat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
he wore that NFL hat to a game. That was so funny.
That's a solid memes came from that.
Yeah, I said it. I said with Lanning, like I know some people scoff at it, but like I don't think it would be that crazy. I really don't.
He hasn't exactly won anything at Oregon either. I mean, he's won like a conference championship, but that doesn't mean anything these days.
No, that was an issue with the playoff format. I've said this narrative before, but Oregon in any other year probably wins the national championship last year. They went undefeated in the Big Ten, one of the top two conferences. They beat Ohio State. They went to a neutral site and played Penn State. And their reward was to end up at the Rose Bowl, the exact same spot Ohio State did.
Yep.
So what the hell was the point?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to play in the conference championship. Why?
I'd be pissed if I was an Oregon fan and that happened. I'd be pissed like that, how that year ended, getting absolutely.
Oh my God, I'm older than Dan Lanning.
Pantsed by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, a team that you've beaten already. I'd be pissed, especially with that team. Dylan, an 85-year-old Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. I mean, there's no reason to, at the very least, make it to the national championship game. But not everyone can run the table, I guess, and then win a national championship.
They're the last team of that type. It'll never happen again. No, you're winning a tournament. But anyway, Lanning's from Missouri originally. I thought he was more south than that. Went to school in Missouri too. But yeah, obviously he came up Alabama GA and then was at Georgia with Kirby before he went to Oregon. So
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Those LSU hot boards are going to be fun to look at, man.
Oh yeah.
Dan Lanning never shopped at Circuit City. That's our sign that it's time to go.
Yep. You bet.
Oh, you had to say it. Won't happen, but LSU is one of those jobs Urban could be talked into. I agree. I don't think it will happen because I don't think him or his wife has the I don't know if energy is the right word, but like I don't think they want to commit to another head coaching job. But I've always said, like, with people at Michigan State, they're like, oh, we could get Urban. Maybe he'd go back to Florida. Maybe LSU's one.
He's running out of ailments to make up.
He doesn't want to recruit in this era.
No, because they'd be on even playing field.
Yeah, wait, everybody gets to pay them?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't want to do that.
I think Saban bailed.
Is he still married?
Retired. Yeah, he's surprisingly still married. Yep. And on that note, we'll see you next week.
Oh my God. That's true. They can get in the portal now.
Yeah. That rule hasn't gone into effect yet.
Because, well, no, they have a 30-day window. The coach got fired.
Yeah, but there's a new rule coming out that you have a window after your coach gets hired. the new coach comes in.
I can't keep track of this.
I don't know when that goes into effect, but if it is now, still, I don't know. But yeah, that's part of the new portal window rules, is that when a coach gets fired, the window opens when the coach gets hired.
To transfer out?
Yeah. So I guess it gives a
chance. Gives the new coach a chance to keep his players.
Right, to meet with them and do that stuff. So that's that way
fair,
he's not coming into a completely decimated program.
Yeah. Well, in your past, I mean, unless somebody literally hasn't played 4 games, you're past the redshirt window now too.
Right.
But all right. Well, sir, I guess you could just say it is what it is.
You can say that. You indeed can say that.
All right, long show, guys. Sorry. But also, like, some of you have been here the whole time. You guys are sick. But we appreciate you. Viewership was up very high. Appreciate you. Obviously, you know the drill, man. If you're watching this back later and you want to be a part of the incredible conversation that we've had here tonight, like, subscribe, notification bell so you know when we go live. The YouTube channel is just getting flooded with content at this point. Obviously, we've got Hale on Sundays, Dennis's shows during the week, Dennis's show with, doing the post-game live, or him and Brock in the Big House after games live. We've got Scar and Do, if you guys like, on Twitter, Do Film Analysis, John Dewar. He joins Jim Scarcelli, 2 former Michigan players, doing film review. I've got my show with Big Boutros now, Victor's Weekly, and I don't know if I want to tease this yet. I'm working on something really, really good. Bringing a couple guys on board, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed you guys would be very, very excited about the show if I can pull this off. So I'm working on it.
Trevor's up to something.
Always up to something. This is one I've kind of been back burner for a little bit, but I think, I don't want to say too much, but
it's time.
Huh?
It's time.
Yeah. This would be a fun one. A couple guys I've been huge fans of for a while, and I hope I can bring on board. Anyway, and then obviously,
they haven't had one of those for a while. I gotta do some research.
I almost pulled a Corso there and said something. I didn't. I revealed my top choice too early with Zach Marshall, and I said I was going to save him for a big game, and then he had a big game, and yeah. I think one of them does have a good football neck. Actually, now I have to check while I do this. He does not, and I'm gonna have to tell him that.
Gotta work on.
Oh yeah. One of them's got a good football neck.
Oh man,
I thought he did, but oh man, damn it! I can't show it because that'll give it away. That's a good football neck. Okay, not so fast, my friend. No, I don't remember which team he was talking about, but the offense came out and started on fire and then kind of fizzled out, and he used a term for what that team did. Oh, the Corso clips saying F it or yelling at that little child.
Yeah. He just told the kid to shut up.
He called him the M word.
Yeah. Yeah, it was well beyond time for him to be taken out the pasture.
Oh, for sure. So good.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Hey, the website, guys, Maize and Blue Review. Whether you're taking part in the chaos that is in-game posting on the Den, or throughout the week, the conversations, the back and forth, the threads about Tigers, Red Wings, everything sports, vacation trips. It's a hangout. We keep trying to explain that. We want it to be like Cheers and whatever analogy you want to make, and we're in there, we're talking with you, not at you. We always want to make sure you guys know your community. This is your community. You've created it. We're so proud of it, but you guys have created it. We'd love to have you guys be a part of it. He's Italian. Who's Italian? Corso. What does that have to do with anything?
His mouth.
I guess. That's funny. He's Italian. Yeah. All right. But yeah, Maize and Blue Review. I can never remember. Go over to on3.com, search us. You can pull it up. Sign up. The promo gives you the $1 for the first week and then you can cancel if you don't like us, but you'll like us. Yeah. We're likable. You're here watching me at 10 o'clock at night talking about Lee Corso-isms. You like us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you tune
you
in,
already, you like us. Go subscribe to us
somehow.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. We didn't get to it, but basketball coverage is going to pick up. Dennis has been on it a little bit. Brock, obviously, I did watch the game. Oh my God, is Yak's good?
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty damn good this year.
Oh my God, dude.
Yep,
he's so good.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun to figure out what Dusty May does with the lineups because it was an exhibition, so I thought he was probably a little bit more sub heavy in that game. But
yeah. And it's a shame too because he hasn't had a full roster of guys practicing. This is probably like the first time in a while that he's had like a full roster.
You can tell he's in his element, man. The tempo is there, the transition is there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely going after boards is more of a focus. I knew Mara was big, but holy crap!
Yeah, that's a big dude.
He's huge, dude.
Yep.
He's very tall.
Yep.
And you can tell he's just a different kind of interior presence to Vlad.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And as good as Danny Wolf was last year, and it's like, oh, Yax can go right into that role. He's so much smoother, dude. Getting to the hoop. He started out last night's game with 2 straight threes. Elliott looks like he's going to be able to be a decent distributor. It's going to be interesting to see Burnett and Gale, what kind of steps they take this year.
Right.
Trey does not look like a freshman out there. Kaysen's taking a step, I believe. We've gone from empty chairs to like there's going to be guys too good to not be playing, but they won't have a choice because this roster is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fun football team to talk about. And hockey, my God, hockey's playing really well as well. So like it's not just football. There's plenty of Michigan talk going on. Again, Maize and Blue Review. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Is that it? I forget anything? Anything you want to say?
No, thanks for coming out, everyone. Thanks for the kind comments. Always appreciate that. Just remember, we only read the kind ones and not the mean ones. So the mean ones don't exist. It's the only the ones that kiss our ass are the ones we.
You got a quick block on that guy earlier tonight.
Yeah, well, if you're a moron, you're gonna get the auto block. I mean,
we've been good to Ohio State fans in here before. Come talk your shit, just be good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly right. If you're bad at it, then you're just gonna get the quick block.
You're gonna get the axe.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Talking about what is it, Purdue? Yeah, Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue.
Oh, all right. That's it. Hell the podcast. Thank you.